Well, hello and good morning, and thanks again for tuning in to Touche TV. My name is Tony Hill. I'll be your host. And, we're going to talk about the true benefits of supplements. Are they worth buying? Well, there's a lot of research about supplements, and, most people get them to replace certain things. Other people get them because they give you this story that you're going to be so big, and muscular or lean in type. But are they really worth buying? Before we dive into that, I just want to say thank you so much for the sponsors. We've got a new sponsor on board, DKB, which is absolutely amazing. It's dance kickboxing. Uh, amazing workout. Also, touchefitness.com, yours truly, is one of the main sponsors as well. Always remember to comment, share, subscribe to the show. Look at our touche.fit at Touche Fitness Instagram, and also Touche Fitness on your YouTube. So are they worth buying? Well, let me show you what I got. Okay. I did a little research on it, and I come to find out that, it's like supplements, they come in many forms. Like, for example, they actually are in powder, they're in tablets, they're in liquids, and so on and so forth. Some people even take, like, for example, your testosterone boosters or whatever. They were actually there's plants that you can actually, some people may boil them or eat them or whatever, but they come in many forms. But are they really good? Okay. And now in my notes, and I'm going to try to follow along really carefully because we have quite a bit to share today. Um, the simplest form, let's talk about it. Some of the supplements, we're talking calcium, fish oils, echinacea, ginseng, garlic, vitamin D, these supplements, actually, and many more. We're talking about now just vitamins, okay? Like, because you can't get, and I read a long time ago that if you wanted to get all the vitamins and minerals in your day, you have to eat from a table as long as a football field. And that is a lot of food, right? Lots of food. But however, when you look at when I was doing my research on the topic today, on this concept, I found out that the health institutes actually spend a whopping $2.4 billion studying vitamins and minerals. That's 2.4 billion with a B. That is a lot of money to just look at things when it comes to supplements. Well, we all know that big pharma, it's literally leading the way, and they always have put their foot on supplementation. They always have, like supplements are like uh, you know, they're just a claim. The FDA, they're not FDA approved, and some they do FDA approved. And then based on today, you got to really be concerned about when it's FDA approved, is it really good for you? Today. So when you look, the question that will always escape me, and I'm going to read this because I actually wanted to be correct in this. Okay, because they say supplements aren't always safe, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but some supplements, have a toxicity to it, and some supplements can have a bad reaction to the body. It just depends on the type, where your body is health wise. It depends on um, your condition, if you have a pre-existing condition, or if you're going through something uh, internally at that time that you decide to take a vitamin. Everything that you put in that body really makes a difference for that body. You got to be really careful, right? So let me read to you what this physician named Mills Tien, that's Tein. This is what the doctor says. Supplements may interact with other medications you're taking or pose risks if you have certain medical conditions, such as a liver disease or are going to have surgery. Some supplements also haven't been tested in pregnant women, nursing mothers, or children, and you may need to take extra precaution. Also, federal regulations for dietary supplements are less strict than prescription drugs, which is really interesting what the doc says. And it's true. They have, they're less strict on how, the information, and I thought about that too. I give you a supplement that's popular. Comes to my mind right away. Vitamin C. Vitamin C. There is a toxicity to it, and it just depends on, again, your body. But an average healthy adult or healthy human can take over 10,000 at minimum, over 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Now, it depends on what kind of vitamin C that is, but just to give you an idea, vitamin C can be harmful. However, it's one of those things that doesn't have a regulation. Uh, so it's just kind of wide open. Everybody takes vitamin C, whether it's in a powder or a tablet or a capsule or whatever. Uh, the doctor also says some supplements may contain ingredients not listed on the label, and these ingredients can be unsafe. Certain products are marketed as dietary supplements and actually contain prescription drugs within them, drugs that are not allowed in dietary supplements. And this goes to athletes who literally, what they do is these athletes actually take certain supplements and then they end up getting tested. And what happens? Boom, they have a reaction, right? And then they no longer can compete because this is on the drug list, right? But they never know that. But some of these things do some of these vitamins have it in there. And now, here's what the doctor says. This is some of the information, and I really like what he's saying, and this is what I'm sharing with you. Dr. Mills says some supplements that may pose risk include vitamin K, which can reduce the effectiveness of blood thinners, ginkgo, which can increase blood thinning, St. John's wort, which can make some drugs, such as antidepressants and birth control, less effective. Herbal supplements, comfrey and kava, which can damage your liver, beta carotene and vitamin A, which can increase the risk of lung cancer in smokers. This is really interesting because when I look at it, think about that. Beta carotene and vitamin A can increase the risk of cancer in smokers. So what does the doc say? Doc is really clear on whether supplements are good or bad. There are some supplements that aren't good for you that can have a negative response if you take them. So not all supplements are really good to take. You have to read. If you're taking prescription meds, you've got to research because it determines whether or not that supplement is really going to work, not work, or actually speed up a pre-existing condition that you're actually dealing with at that time. So you always have to research. I want to thank Dr. Mills for that. That was really cool. Now, as a healthcare provider, before taking supplements, the most important thing to remember is to be smart when choosing a supplement. And again, we're back to what Dr. Mills said, that, and I liked his approach. He's saying to be smart. Don't just grab stuff because it's popular. Don't. One of the biggest things on the market is people that are. Let me see. How can I put this? Are they? Well, bodybuilders, things like that. They take certain things because of what people say. Now, I'm a bodybuilder. I think I'll be a bodybuilder someday. I take a dirt nap. Bodybuilding is amazing. I love it. We all are bodybuilders when you look at it. Bodybuilder is simply mean changing your body. Bodybuilder as a competitor is a little different, but it's still bodybuilding. So anytime you're in the gym, your goal is to build your body. So one of the biggest things that with supplements that I find that people don't do, they don't understand what they're reading. They may read, but they don't really get it. And for the most part, if you're young, you don't really care, right? Because what happens is you say, if I can take this maybe 4 times as much, it'll work faster. Well, contrary to popular belief, that is not true. Again, you're dealing with your organs. Remember, your organs must process these vitamins and minerals. They have to. They have to process them because if they don't, then what happens is they set and they settle or they pass through. Think about everything you take, every supplement you take, vitamin, mineral, whatever, it goes to the liver. The liver is that machine that actually processes that. Now, the thing that's in my mind, nothing. I want to tell you this from my heart. Nothing beats the nutrients, the nutrient power of a healthy diet. Now, what does that mean? A healthy diet, in foods, you actually have everything you need. In food, you have everything you need. And I can tell you, when you are actually looking at uh, this thing called healthy diet, what are you actually thinking when you say that? When you look at the word diet, right? Let me for a minute find out what that means. Hold up, and I'm going to get this meaning for you. I have my stuff right here because I always have to be right. You always anything on this show on Touche Live, I actually literally want to validate by research because most people may think that okay, it's me. No, it's not me. I want to be honest, transparent to you, to the audience, so that when you ask questions, these questions, you can actually research them yourself. Now, let's talk about what does diet mean? When people say diet, what does that mean? Now, remember, I told you that vitamins and supplements, nothing can beat a good diet. So what does that mean? Okay, let's go to the beginning. Let's find out what diet actually means. Okay, now the noun of the diet means the kind of food that a person, animal, or community habitually eat. Okay, excuse me, I had to blow my nose. I'm going to take a quick break here. Wait just a moment. I don't want to sound crazy on my show. Okay, thank you. I'm back. I just had to blow my nose. Sorry about that. But we're live, so hey. Okay, so let's go back to what we're talking about. Okay, uh, the kind of food that a person, animal, or community habitually eats. That is the noun version of what the word diet means. Now let's talk about the verb, okay, or the action part. A noun is a person, place, or thing, and then the verb is, the actual action itself, the evidence of it. Uh, Diet, restrict oneself to small amounts of or special kinds of food in order to lose weight. So the first part is the kind of food, and the second part is restricting yourself from certain kind of foods to lose weight. Now, this is a practical definition of what that word diet means. And there's so many kinds of diets. Think about the two uh, that we talked about before. We talked about keto and we talked about plant-based, right? We talked about what are they? Now again, I just want to remind you that we started off talking about the true benefits of supplements. Now I told you that supplements literally do not replace, they supplement. Don't look at them as replacing something that's not there. They supplement. That's why they're called supplements. Whether you need them or not, recapping is that you have to be able to read the labels. If you're taking medicine, you have to really be careful what you're taking because they can have an adverse reaction on your body, on your internal organs. So you got to be extremely careful about the things that you put in your body, supplement-wise, okay? Now, remember I told you too that nothing trumps a good diet. Now, we also found out, see, our view of diet is, again, it's food, the noun side, and on the verb side is literally reducing calories to lose weight. So think about that. We have conditioned ourselves that when you hear that word diet, right? When you hear it, you talk about the food and then you talk about the weight loss, but it has nothing to do with that. Think about, if you want to say diet, say just the way you eat. Say, because the way you eat, your cultural upbringing actually uh, literally brings out in you the things that you consume. On the outside, you begin to see them. And see, you can't trump what you see on the outside. You just cannot. Because it's what's on the outside that kind of shows you what's happening on the inside. Let me explain. There's two popular diets that people that are incredibly controversial. And I have to actually go through, I think I have to go through literally um, the true meaning of what we're talking about here. Keto and plant-based. These are really, I don't want to say controversial, but I just want to take my time with these two because these things also can lead into stress. These things can also affect your training. They can affect how you look, feel, think. Uh, that is in a whole nother category of itself. Plant based or keto. Now, there's a whole lot of other ones. I mean, I can remember Atkins, you remember all these other things that was going on. But let's understand that diet is just simply what you eat. On the verb sense, stop using it to restrict calories. Stop using it as a weight loss word. That's a common dictionary, but that's not really what that means. And ultimately, it's food, which equals what food you consume, which equals how that food is processed, which equals what that food actually, the end result is, how does it make you look? The difference between ice cream and beef chicken. That's way out there, but nevertheless, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it a little bit. Keto versus plant-based. Dun, 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 dun. Are you ready for this? Now, I'm going to give you straight. And, I've looked at this. I've researched it. And let me tell you what I found out. If you're looking to lose weight, right? They say that the ketogenic diet might be a better option for you. However, if you're looking to improve your overall health, then the plant-based diet is probably a better choice. Think. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, breathe. Let's take a moment. So, but it's definitely healthy. So I'm not going to show the brand because they're not one of our sponsors, so I won't no one do that. But think about it. 1, keto, weight loss. 2, plant-based, better choice. Okay, why are they different? It's interesting because when you're looking at a keto diet, right? Keto diet is high in animal-based protein sources. High in animal-based protein sources, minimizing your carbohydrate amounts. Plant-based diet focuses less on protein and more on the source of the food. We're smart, right? Every one of us that's listening to Touche TV, we are smart. Again, quickly, just want to, if you really, 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 really want this show to just grow, please subscribe. Please share and comment. Every time I'm on live every week from Sunday to 8, Sunday at 8 a.m., I'm here. I'm here and I'm going to be here because what I'm sharing with you, it has to make sense. And repetition is the best key to learning. I've always learned that, right? The more you hear it, eventually you'll understand it. But think about what I just said to you. If you're looking to lose weight, keto is good, but plant-based is your better choice because keto focuses on high protein and minimizing the carbohydrate source, which plant-based is less of protein now because of this is just telling you the difference. Doesn't mean plant-based doesn't mean that protein is not good, but you're not really focusing on that because with a plant-based diet, you're not focused on weight loss, you focus on health because plant-based is more helping you to look at the source. Where did the food come from? Keto, not so much. Because again, keto, protein, low carb, right? Plant-based, where did food come from? Think about it. Which would you like to have more? Because if you go now, I'm not saying one is bad or good for the other. Now, some people do keto and they do really well, and they lost the weight, and when they lose the weight, what else comes? Or when they lose the weight, it's really difficult for them to maintain it because think about what does excessive amount of proteins, what can they do to you? Okay. And what is really more healthier? And I can tell you, based upon what we said, based upon what I just said to you, and I'm looking at my notes right now, on the short end, keto can help reduce inflammation, right? But the foods that they have, usually keto, the vegan diet is, they use vegan, keto, almost the same thing, but nothing can trump a plant-based because, let me explain. I'm looking at my notes here. Let me get my notes. I want to make sure I am on point with you guys. I actually want to literally be open and honest with you because I don't want to say that. I don't want you to leave here thinking, oh my God, keto will kill me. Well, all things are good in moderation. But let's talk about keto. Plant-based is self-explanatory. When you know where your food come from, you know that your body's going to love you, right? When you know where your food come from, you know your body's going to love you. And you know how it's going to love you? It's going to love you by looking incredibly awesome. Now, too much protein. Now, you remember we said keto is, up there. Can cause the body to convert glucose through a process called glucogenesis, which can inhibit ketosis. Additionally, too much protein can strain the kidneys, especially for those with a pre-existing kidney issue. That's keto. Remember, we said high protein, right? Low on the carb. Whether you like that definition or not, it's going to happen. We all have the same, excuse me, body internally. What I mean is your liver, your heart, your kidney, your lymphatic system, no matter whether you're male or female, it all works the same. The only thing I said to a client yesterday, I was training her at my home, and I told her the only thing that differentiates us physically is our genitals, right? Because I mean, you're a girl and I'm a guy, or male and female. So that's the one thing that separates us. But internally, each organ works the same. So what I want to ask, what I want to say to you is, here's, I'm going to give you 6 signs that you could be eating too much protein, right? Now, if you're out there and you're on a keto diet, okay, trust me, I'm not trying to say, quit right now. I'm just wanting to give you information so that you can literally make a great choice. That's your body. You can do whatever you want to do with that body. Nobody can tell you what to do with that body. But being on the show and listening to me tells me that you are concerned and you want to learn. And I'm here for you. And I'm just sharing with you some truth. But I'm really convicted in my heart to encourage you, plant-based is better. Because you know where your food comes from. And if you don't know, there's research out there. There's not, an apple is good for you. Beans are good for you. Vegetables are good for you. Grains but what is good for you? Whether you like them or not, that's not important. You have to understand that, and you don't have to be 100%. Well, I'm a plant-based person, or some people say fruitarians, or what? They have all of these titles, but that's why I gave you diet. Most people don't really understand what that means. It's the thing that's sold in this whole industry of health and wellness. Diet. Look at it. DIET. The first 3 letters will tell you specifically, without question, what that word has been translated to. I gave you both sides of that today. 6 signs that you could be eating too much protein. You will not enter this if you're doing plant-based. But if you're doing a keto, or you think about the bodybuilder preparing for the show, look at the protein intake he takes or she takes. But it's weighed out, macro, nutrients, whatever how they plan their meals or whatever. But here's 6 signs that you're eating too much protein. Number 1, you always have to pee. Now, don't get that twisted with drinking too much water, okay? Because what happens is your urine is a different color, okay? And it's not white. Sometimes it's yellow or dark yellow or whatever. So you have to look at that, right? Number 2, you feel like you're in a funk all the time. You can't seem to get yourself together. These are the people who take keto diets very, very serious. The biggest one that I know for a fact is you're constipated. You can't seem to push the narrative. That's a good way to put it. You can't see, when you get on the toilet, it's hard, right? And that's because, again, what we're talking about, too much protein, right? Too much protein. That's one of those signs. Number 4, your weight is creeping back up. Number 5, you're tired all the time. Remember, a keto diet, what happens is your carbohydrates are low. Because the ultimate, I mean, I think there's so many more signs, but the ultimate sign of a keto diet is what? Weight loss, right? But a plant-based program is life itself. This is something that I don't know if people will admit it, but I have before. Last but certainly not least, you have bad breath. And bad breath is a telltale sign, right? And this is to those people who really swear by keto. So you have to understand that. Let me think about this before I say it. Many health issues may happen if you follow a high protein diet for a long time. Health issues are going to follow. Everything in the human body is balanced out: fat, carbohydrates, protein. And I always think, I look at it like this. I try to make everything very simple. Fats lubricate, protein, muscles, carbohydrates, energy. I mean, in my mind, I mean, that's just, we know that fats and proteins and carbs do a lot more than that, but that helps me to break it down to my clients so simple that they can understand that you have to balance that out. Having a plant-based diet helps you balance that out, because let's take excuse me, let's take uh let's see what I want to take. Just something that's common. Let me think about it. Let's see. Let's take let's see. Let's take some fruits. Okay. Beans, greens, seeds, green beans and seeds. In those things right there's so many. Oh my God, this, we're talking plant-based now. In these things, there are so many things that these things do. Let's take beans. Everybody likes beans. I love beans. I love me some beans, y'all. I'm telling you. I was kind of like raised on beans, you know. I was kind of raised on beans, and hey, of course, they give you gas for the most part, but it's like they're really good for you. Now, let me tell you, let me give you a little bit. This is what I wrote. This just fascinates me, and I don't know if beans and cornbread is a cultural thing, but let's just talk about beans. I just wanted to bring one thing for in regards to plant based. Let's talk about anti-inflammatory. They have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties are found in beans. Protein, different. See, which we're talking keto. In keto, you're mostly focused on protein. But when you know where your food comes from, it's a complete package. Let's go to, for all our fruitarians or whatever people that love fruit. Okay. Let's talk about watermelon. It was just really, I tried that. I love it. High in citrulline, which converts in the body, like arginine. Let's talk about the apple. High in lycopene. Let's talk about pineapple. Has anti-inflammatory properties. Bromelain, it's very high in bromelain. It helps with joint and anti-inflammation in the joints, arthritis, things like that. Let's talk about, we can go on and on. Celery, we can get spinach and kale, and we can talk about what's it, the thing that popular that people like. They like to eat quinoa, right? All these things. Okay, when you look at all these things and you talk about what's good and what's not good, you find out that, hey, all I gotta do is make a better choice. All I gotta do is care a little bit about myself. Now, let's talk about when you're going through all these things. You got the supplements. You've got keto versus plant-based. All of this affects your stress levels, and most importantly, how you train. And when you're looking at these things, you have to understand that once you start to exercise, your body's going to need more, not less. Because if you don't do that, you're going to actually have a major issue. And I want to talk about what's important. And the question that I want to ask is, does a plant-based diet, this is the question, you can think about that. Does a plant-based diet help with stress? We know for a fact, keto is temporary. Plant-based is forever. Think about that. And when I say forever, I don't say that, okay, you're vegan or vegan and plant-based. We already know they're two different things. When we talk about plant-based, we're talking about, let me replace that with another food. Let's replace that with just eating to live. Okay. Let me give you this research that I found. Does a plant-based diet help with stress? Certain foods can help lower cortisol, while others have been linked to stress and anxiety. Research shows that diets with a strong emphasis on whole plant-based foods are associated with lower stress, lower anxiety, and lower depression. Oh man, this is absolutely amazing. Think about, I'm giving you a key. You have to unlock the treasure that's inside you. Stop doing everything because you actually think it's the right thing or the wrong thing. Stop focusing on weight loss. Stop it. Learn how to eat the right thing to combat stress. Diet or food can affect your stress. Listen, keto, veganism, all these other fad things add to your stress. While plant-based foods, now notice, foods or diets, plant-based, lower stress, anxiety, and depression. Now, what are the biggest? These are the biggest three things. Not what are the biggest, but these are the biggest three things on the planet. Stress, anxiety, and depression. And what do we put in there? We don't put plant-based foods. We replace it with medicine, right? And then we find ourselves in a bad situation, right? And what happens with that, right? Then we say, okay, let's exercise, yeah? Let's exercise and feel better, right? But we don't feel better. We might lose a little weight, but it is said too, as long as you are meeting your energy and protein needs and replacing any nutrients at risk while you're exercising or training, you can enhance your recovery and boost your energy and improve your body composition. Why? Because plant-based is literally knowing what you're putting in your body. And by knowing what you're putting in your body, you're going to get the benefits from exercise, whether it be weight training, whether it be HIIT training, whether it be cycling, whether it be... Now, no, when I talk about exercise is simply hard work. But there's a thing called recreation, which is kind of looked at as exercise, but not. It depends on the person's physical abilities. Now, if you're a healthy person, walking is a good thing to help reduce stress and stuff like that. It's really good to breathe the oxygen, get the vitamin D if you're walking in the morning or whatever. It's a fantastic thing. But it's literally, unless you kind of add to like doing a brisk walk, things like that, that's brisk walk means to me walking with a purpose. I mean, not just enjoying it, but walking is movement. So depending on your situation, walking is a great thing. But When you're older, it's even better because, of course, your body can't handle the stress of weight training or whatever, unless you've been training all your life or whatever the case might be. But exercise is simply hard work. It's hard work. And you have to prepare. And what better foods to prepare from than a plant-based diet? Studies show that athletes on plant-based diets increase their VO2 max. That's the maximum amount of oxygen they can use during intense training. It increases their VO2. Excuse me. Plant-based diets increase their VO2. Plant-based diets increases their VO2 and adds to their exercise performance. I tell you, early in the morning, it's oh man, God, I had a really interesting night. Just want to segue off into this before I actually go into a little bit of something else. But anyway, I love to bowl. Okay, give you something personal. I love to bowl. And I actually was bowling last night really late. And so what happens is when I bowl really late and I get up early in the morning, this is what you get. Itchy nose, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it gets kind of crazy, but as the day go on, I'll be okay. So please be patient with me. Again, I want to remind you to share, to subscribe, to comment on the show. This show is for you. Touche Live is for you. I do have a subscription-based $10 a month, personal coach in your pocket. That is very important. This is very important to me to help you to reach your fitness and wellness goals. So that is $10 a month. Amazing content, information that you want on there. All you got to do is go to touche.exercise@gmail.com and give me what you want to learn, see, or whatever. There's workouts. There's a lot of different things. We're going to add stuff to it as we go. So go to touchefitness.com for all of your fitness and wellness needs. Most importantly, I just launched, actually, officially, merch. So we have hoodies, sweat tops. See this shirt? Look at that. Like Touche. This shirt is really cool. Look at that. And it's got the website on it. But I do have sayings that I say, like, nothing beats it for you to try. Don't give up. Last set, best set. Things like that. Don't let your age be your cage. Stuff like that. So you can wear these shirts or whatever. I have some amazing. It's made from amazing material. I love it because some people bought it and I felt it. And I said, wow, this is so cool, right? This is so cool. And I have tennis shoes and hats and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, support your boy. We do have an incentive program where you can go to touchefitness.com and you can actually earn points, or I think there's stars or whatever, where you get discounts on certain things. And I do have an instructor's subscription for all instructors. And I'm always looking for people who want to be a Touche instructor. Keep in mind that Touche is tough, outrageously unique, challenging, highly motivated exercise. And that's about you. Now, notice to the back of me, you see actually over here, your boy Tony Hill right here. I have certifications and camps always. So you want to go to touchefitness.com and get your merch, get your music, and get where I'm located in EOS. Special shout out to EOS Fitness. EOS Fitness is just graciously co-branded with Touche. And EOS Fitness is actually, I love their philosophy. And I'm so grateful to be a part of the GFit family. Another special shout out to the lady in charge who actually runs the program, is Joella. And especially for the Vegas part, special shout out to none other than Jennifer Smith, who's just an amazing person. And it's because of her presenting, my conviction in my heart, that she has given me a pathway and a voice to be able to share with you my passion. Thanks again, Joella, for your love and your concern, and I love your conviction about fitness, always wanting to be better every day, and your ultimate concern for the members attending each class, from Zumba to, body pump to cycling to they have dance, all other commit. They had so many things at EOS Fitness. So come and join me. Touche is also there. I do have also ageless for your mature adults, that you can come to. Usually that class is 50 and over, but I've also gotten younger people there who just want a slow start in understanding the way fitness works with themselves. So ageless is a little bit different. Um, it's more educational, but you do work. But everything that EOS has to offer literally fits the community, and they're open. But they're open to ideas and everything. But you got to come correct. Always you got to come. So again, thank you EOS Fitness for uh, giving Touche Fitness a home and agents. Thank you so much. So let's go back to the topic. Let's finish here. Let me scratch my nose really quick. I'll scratch my nose. Oh, because it's always nice to put a tissue in your nose and scratch and go like that. I don't want to do that. But let's talk about, again, the athletes. Remember, we talked about, just to recap, it increases their VO2 max, maximizing your oxygen. That's what your VO2 max during intense exercise. So it leads ultimately to, when you increase your VO2 max, it leads ultimately to having better endurance. And if you have better endurance, you can handle more stress in the muscle. And as a result of that, the muscle actually looks better and better and better and better with each training program. So you want to keep that in mind. So if anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Now, interesting thing too. Okay, now there's an upside to everything, but there's also a downside. Now, it's not to say primarily I said plant-based versus keto. Okay, so we talked about, right? Training, stress, how does both of those affect? Now, if you listen to everything I said, for a fact that plant-based by far is better, because you want to know what you're eating, right? Keto is higher in protein, low in carb. We know that. So when that happens, there's signs of having too much protein, but there's also you can literally have a problem with a plant-based diet if you're not careful. There is a downside. Not as severe as the keto or the others, but let me read from here. So I want to be as correct as I can. And I want to give you Tonyology, which is me. I want to do that. Some studies have shown that those on a plant-based diet are found to have lower plasma vitamin B12 levels and higher levels of vitamin B12 deficiency. I think that what they say is that the ones with that does animal products have higher. Well, it's common, right? Because as a bodybuilder, when I used to compete, long time ago, when you eat a higher part of protein like meats and stuff like that, they have a different effect to the body, right? They're higher, like you got your, vitamin K. You got there's so many wonderful things in having beef for protein, right? High in B vitamins. People don't know this, that the meat actually has L-carnitine in it, beef. But when you look at that, and you look at your plant-based, which you talking about legumes, you're talking about vegetables, you're talking about quinoa, you're talking about a lot of other things, you can actually see. Now they're lower, the lower B12 deficiency lower. This doesn't mean it affects you like it would like an overabundance amount of protein. So you have to, listen wisely to that. Doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It just the levels are off a little bit, right? Because the thing is that B12, the reason meat is higher in B12 than it is when you go plant-based, simply in this case study, is that it can lead to what they say here is anemia, and oftentimes a neurological dysfunction. Sometimes, very rare, but you really have to be very careful, because the question is it harder to change or to build muscle on a plant-based diet? Okay, consuming only plant-based proteins can be just as effective as building your muscle. And it can. You can't. The quality of food, the quality of what you put in your body is literally the most important thing. For example, um, I tried something. I tried having just watermelon all day. And I come to find out I didn't have a problem with energy. Every time I was hungry, I ate watermelon. And it was really good for that day, right? Now, people who do watermelon longer and longer and longer, I think it subjects their body to these things as well. Remember to adverse reactions. Not to say that watermelon is bad, but everything in moderation is good. Now, when I was bodybuilding and I was eating like a pound of beef a day, again, the muscle quality was there, but it was different. I felt differently on the beef, the chicken, the turkey than I did when I was actually doing just fruit. Now, when I went and did like beans and rice and beans, rice, vegetables, things like that, I felt clarity uh, in my mind, and when I trained, I felt a lot tighter. I felt like I can endure a lot more. So it's different. So I'm saying to you that it actually is up to you when you before you make these choices of keto versus plant based training and diets and stress. Before you take these make these choices and you go down these pathways, you have to know literally, are you ready for the commitment, and why are you doing these things? And then when you do those things, you've got to ask yourself, what exercises actually work? How do I train? How would I train in these exercises? Why I'm actually doing these exercises? How am I going to train? For example, did I train any differently whether I was eating high protein, low carbs, low fats, or high carbs or whatever? Did I train any differently? Sometimes I did. Like sometimes when you, like for example, I'm just taking a bodybuilding lifestyle because that's where I come from pretty much, to the extreme from the competitive style. It's like off season, you're trying to keep your muscle, you try to grow and change the muscle or whatever. Then you've got 2 weeks before or 3 weeks for some, you start dieting so that you can peak on the stage. And then the food drastically changes. So you focus on that protein for the most part. You moderate your carbs, and you keep your fats in there kind of evenly, but you reduce your water intake and so on and so forth. So you could be as dry as you can so that you can see the muscles really nice and clear. But the exercise increases, it's like you're a walking zombie, the closer you get to competition. Now, in that wise, you can always control what you do. You just have to know what you do and why you do it and how much should you do it. Now, this requires a professional. This requires someone who actually can help you understand that. You need the person on the outside to see your vision so that they can translate what your body needs in order to make that change and transformation. So you don't want to actually go, okay, this is who I am and this is what I want to do, and then go over here and say, this is good for me, that's bad for you, because it's not really that way. Everything that you do in moderation can really benefit you. Everything that you put in your body literally affects everything about you. Your body is one of those things that you can't lie with. You just can't, because the body, and this is something I say this in my classes when I'm teaching my classes. When I'm teaching my classes, what I say is I say that the best person or the best thing to look at when you are literally going through your life journey, the best thing that you can actually trust is that mirror. And I tell you something that's really interesting, right? Because the thing is that people have all kinds of things that they say to people, and I always try to do things to encourage them. I say, that mirror actually is the most honest thing that you can actually look at. So if you don't like what you see, change it. And don't force yourself to like it and say, give yourself some kind of excuse that, hey, this is who I am, because that's not fair. You got to think about the people that love you the most. And here's some anti-aging tips. Anti-aging tips I want to give to you. Okay. Remain curious, because remaining curious is it just keeps you young, because you don't really want to settle. You want to always better yourself. Try new things, right? Constantly work on just being the best you that you can in that day. Always, always want to do something different and new, because again, not only does it keep you young, like we talk about the curiosity, but it keeps your mind just fresh every day, right? Don't take yourself too seriously, folks. Please don't do that, because life has a lot of turns and twists and curves and ups and downs. So don't take yourself too seriously when you actually looking at your life. I know we all in this time we're facing, inflation. There's a lot of things going on in life, and we it's not the same. Work is not the same. Life is not the same. We've lost loved ones along the way, and we still are moving forward. So don't take yourself too seriously when you're dealing with life. Keep an open mind, right? Keep an open mind to you know to life. Keep an open mind. Sometimes when I say life, I'm talking about your own personal experiences. The people in your circle. Most importantly, your family. And I like listen to new music. Try to go out there and try to find. You might not like country. Listen to it. You don't never know what you get out of it. Country is not a bad thing. Country music. I love jazz. I'm a jazz guy, and I also love gospel music. I love gospel music, but there's all kinds of gospel music now. It's just like the secular world. They kind of like intertwining together. But there's also gospel jazz as well. I don't know why they call it gospel jazz, because they actually play music and you can the song, but they just don't have the words. But listen to new music. It's really cool, because now you got EDM. You got a lot of different things. And they all have a different message. Make new friends. Making new friends is a really cool anti-aging way to live. If you don't want to, when I say anti-aging, we all going to age, but you want to hold on to as much life as you can. Always make new friends. Now, to me, a friend is someone who sticks closer than a brother, right? Most of what we deal with in life are called associates. They associate with you. They don't really know you. Uh, in their own way, they don't want to care to know you. And sometimes when another person comes into your life, always remember that that person is bringing their life to you. That person is bringing their life to you. Don't let them put their life on you. Last, certainly not least, best anti-aging tip in the world. Just, just dance. Have a great time. Dance. Enjoy yourself. You know, uh, have an awesome time with your life and how you look at life, and never, never be down on yourself. Encourage yourself, because basically that's what we all have to do in a long shot. We just have to be strong in our minds, be strong in our hearts, and that spirit, the spirit of being a true, wonderful human being will come through. Hey, again, I want you to like and share, comment on the show, subscribe to the show, Touche Live. I thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you, and hopefully something has been said to help you prolong your life and to help you see life differently. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.
Work them arms, work them legs, strong for life because hard work pays.